ethic was the biggest thing. He always led by example. He wasn't like the biggest communicator, but he knew how to lead by example. Taught us all the right things. He was the best.
Yeah, I mean, Dad didn't really have to teach competition to me, just because I had two older brothers that, they wanted to be like him, and I wanted to be like them. So that kind of took care of itself.
Yeah, just the amount of time he sacrificed for pretty much everybody, other than himself. But.
And that's the thing, he never sacrificed. However much time he spent there, he didn't sacrifice for us. Like, it didn't take away from us.
But I think more than anything is that his players knew how much he cared about them. And, we share stories all the time about how, he had a way of connecting that no one else could do that. And, no one else was supposed to make up nicknames for our players and this and that, but he didn't do it in a negative way or, something to joke a kid. He would come up with, bird names for his players, and everybody had a different bird name. And again, no one else could really do that and pull it off, but somehow when he did it, it made the players feel special.
He was a tireless worker, and he really put a lot of effort into what he done. He cared about, like they said, he did a lot of things behind the scenes. He did a lot of things at our school that people never saw, but you saw the results. I remember him as in the summer times, and none of us have to be there in the summertime to work, but we as coaches want to be there to make our kids better, and Coach Jacobs was like that. But a lot of days, Coach Riley, they would have football in the mornings, they practice football, and then he'd leave football practice and go do basketball workouts after lunch, go right out of the gym and come out to the baseball field and coach summer baseball at night and do it again tomorrow. And so he was very dedicated to all three sports that he coached, and he wanted the kids to be better. He wanted to help them be better, and not only be better athletes, he wanted to help them make sure they were better people when they graduated.
It was less than a year ago, and I was at the Lowe's in Cary, no less. And I was wearing a Cleveland shirt, and the cashier stops me. She goes, "You know Big John?" And I said, "Yeah, I coached with him. I coached football there." And he was like, she goes, he changed my son's life. So this is years later, but talked about he tried out for basketball, but he didn't have money for team shoes. And then when they handed out the team shoes, the order came in. He just hands him a pair, and his son's like, I didn't buy these, Coach. And he goes, "Yeah, you did," and just handed it to him. And he took care of stuff like that. And she was a single mom, working, and didn't have money for shoes or camp and stuff like that. And he took care, paid stuff like that out of his own pocket. But she was just, years later, that kid had not been passing school, but had not been doing well, but ended up going to college. And a lot of that was a transformation when he took an interest in their lives. So here I am in Cary, just a little while ago, and that mom, when she sees Cleveland, that's the image that comes to her mind, is that Big John, saved her son and changed his life. So those things that make big impacts.
But like they said, he didn't want to broadcast it to anybody. Like, he would hate this. He would be like, that's how he would be about it. I'd do something else, He was humble like that. But, he would never, you would never know he had played Division I football. You would never know that. He never tell anybody, but that's just the type of person he was. He wasn't about him, it was about everybody else.
lot else to say except those boys. He and Amy just did one terrific job with them. He was a great father. She's been a great mother. And I couldn't have been prouder of either of them. And since his passing, Amy has done just remarkable. And those are great kids. Those guys are great. I just loved him. I love him every day. I miss him every day. But I got his boys, and I just enjoy spending time with them. That's about all I've got to say. Everybody that knew John knows I'm already bragging about him, but I don't need to.